Hey, it's a Friday. TGIF, everybody. I'm Dominic D'Angelo of adfreeshows.com, Studio1sports.com, and Podcast Heat Wrestling. Damn it. But I'm here. Mr. Robert Karpelis, WD Creative _ish. He is back. He's ready to roll. He's ready to talk some wrestling. Robert, are you ready to talk some wrestling?
Dude, I feel like I've been gone for like a month, and I missed, what, 2 days?
Just 2 days. That's
It's
it.
2 days. You miss a day, you miss a lot in the world of professional wrestling. You miss a day, miss a lot in the world of rumor and innuendo. Happy to be back here today. Happy to be in beautiful sunny South Florida. Originally, I was going to be traveling next week because of work. Because of this beautiful weather that's going to be hitting the majority of the country. My trip to Flare Country got delayed due to concerns about the weather. So I'm happy to be here, and it means I'll get to chit chat the build up to Royal Rumble with you all. But that's next week. That's next week's Robert's problem. This week's Robert's problem is saying hi to the folks joining us here. Cammy Star says, after morning R&I gearing up for a foot of snow. Yeah, that's what I'm avoiding. I was worried, had to get like sweaters prepared, which is not something you typically do here.
And that's it, Robert? My goodness.
Oh, that's what sweaters. I would have had to pack a coat. You know how much of a pain in the ass it is to fly with a coat? It's like an unruly toddler. You're just trying to like wrap your arms around it. But Wanna Breeze says, hello, R&I. Glad to see Trey Miguel's back in TNA.
What a wild situation. Good for him, though.
I'm a little... Here's sort of the multiple mindsets. We do not know explicitly exactly what transpired over at AEW, or who ultimately made the decision that Trey Miguel needed to be removed from AEW programming and his contract ended. There's a lot of rumor and innuendo and speculation that this is a Briscoe brothers sort of situation. I'm saying situation within a situation here, but the idea that comments that Trey Miguel may or may not have made in the past led to his dismissal from AEW. They were not recent comments, and I guess the folks at TNA and AMC felt, yeah, this feels like the right decision. Let's take a guy who Warner Discovery felt should not be on their programming, or someone within that hierarchy. But here over at AMC, yeah, let's put this guy on television and not invite any kind of controversy.
It does cultivate a little bit of talk about it, especially if you're on the wrestling, quote unquote beat with everything. But like, yeah, I mean, like, I think these alleged tweets or whatever were like 6 years ago. Trey Miguel's relatively young. Obviously, there's no really place to have some air your grievances online. A lot of the ways it's very damaging in a lot of stuff. But
can I give the really obnoxious response that isn't? I worked with Trey Miguel at the company whose name we will not ever say.
Oh, did you? I didn't know that.
Trey was there.
Oh,
really nice kid, very, very talented, very respectful, good guy that we all enjoyed working with, very collaborative, which I thought was very, very important, open to ideas, excited to wrestle, excited to learn. So I can only, it's kind of like the Bruce Pritchard thing. If I can only gauge someone based on how they interacted with me. And so the folks that I tend to malign or dislike over the years has been because of how they were whenever I operated or worked with them.
That makes sense, right?
Never had an issue with Trey Miguel. I was listening to an interview today, actually. It was the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast. And it was Chris Pratt was on, who you can take or leave a lot of what Chris Pratt says or does, but they were asking about the James Gunn situation from years ago, and James Gunn got removed after Guardians 2. And he said when he had conversations with Marvel, he being Chris Pratt, doing the Jim Ross pronoun thing, they said, people could have said or done things years ago, and then what has been their actions since? If they are continuing to make those sorts of comments or engage in those behaviors versus if they show genuine growth and movement forward. I personally have not seen anything out of Trey Miguel, both publicly or from anyone who's worked with him, that has indicated to me that there's any sort of behavioral issue, disciplinary issue, hate speech, anything of that regard. So I don't know what was ultimately motivating it. I think the most embarrassing part was announcing that they're signing the Rascals and then having to remove him. It kind of feels like someone should have done a bit of due diligence before going down this path. That's the part that I have the biggest objection to.
Sure. Yeah, it doesn't. It's not. It doesn't benefit anybody. Either the company or Trey when that kind of stuff
Right.
happens.
Either they feel this is an individual we shouldn't be working with, he doesn't fit our values, which that's their decision. They are, AEW, unlike WWE, is not answering to a publicly traded company.
Hmm.
It is a family business, for lack of a better term. So they can choose to hire and fire whomever they want.
Right. I did not catch TNA. I was planning to catch TNA a little bit at least this morning, but I went on the AMC Plus app, Robert, and there's no new show episode up on there on the AMC Plus
Really?
app. There
So
isn't.
I admittedly did not get a chance to watch it yet. I was planning on it.
Mhm.
The best laid plans of mice and men. I was on a PTO day today, and in between doing legal CLE credits, I was like, oh, I'm going to get through a little TNA. Had some work stuff come up, obviously because of the weather and scheduling changes. Didn't get to watch it, but Wrestling Old Head says, "Good after morning, R&I. Although it wasn't a blowaway spectacular, this week's TNA on AMC was pretty good."
Good to hear. All
I
right.
talked about it with Scott yesterday on Working Stiff, which I'm
Is
assuming is
up.
posted. Okay,
Oh yeah.
fantastic. Of course it's up because
Of
you're the
course.
best producer in wrestling podcast
Of
history.
course.
Drinking your giant ass Starbucks.
Hmm.
I got my Starbucks in here, but brewed, not giving them free advertising like you.
I know. Well, product placement, I guess.
But
Actually, I probably should be advertising them considering
when
what
we
they're
kind of
doing.
talked about the last week's episode of Impact, on paper, it's hard to argue with a lot of the decisions they made solely because if you're looking at your roster and you're looking at this is a brand new audience, this is a brand new show. How are you not going to go with the Hardys to open up your broadcast? How are you not going to go with a world title match? If you're trying to show a diversity of your roster, how are you not going with some kind of women's match? How are you not leveraging Santino Marella? I can completely see the why. The execution needed a little bit of mm,
Yes. Yeah, it did need a little work. So it's good to hear that they kind of made a little bit of a rebound. But like you always say, and like we always hear, it's like first impressions are very, very key. And was not the best first impression, I don't think, for TNA on AMC. Really
it
was.
was fine enough, and we'll see how it goes. And I think, one or two good reports from Wrestling Old Head or other wrestling luminaries, and people may say, you know what, let's give it another shot. I think
Right.
TNA is one of those companies that they've survived for 23 years, not based on critical acclaim.
No, absolutely not. Um, Before we get to your quick thoughts on AEW, I did want to talk about a couple of exits and enters into WWE. Tommaso
That's what she
Ciampa.
said.
Hey now, hey now. I will insert Blue Chew ad later on. But Tommaso Ciampa is leaving. He announced that earlier this week. And what do you think? You talked to Scott a little bit about it on Working Stiff, but what do you think about the exit of Ciampa and what his potential is on the independent or in a different promotion?
I'm a little sad to see Champa go. I think that he was someone who absolutely had a lot of value to that company and probably could continue to have a lot of value. Him and Gargano together as DIY still had legs, in my opinion. I think them against Fraxium, we still could have gotten a couple of good matches. I think that those guys mixing it up with the Street Profits, Motor City Machine Guns. It's always good to have a veteran who can deliver in the ring. It's why they brought Cardona back. My guess is Champa looked at, hey, if we're gonna extend your contract for another 1, 2, 3 year span, what that's gonna look like economically, how much growth and potential you possibly have, how many years you theoretically think you have left. And Champa may have felt, you know what, with the time that I have left for my in-ring career, maybe the grass is greener for me to kind of do my own thing, do some matches on the indies, have an opportunity to headline some smaller promotions, maybe go be a contributing factor over in TNA. I think that if I'm Tony Marie Khan, I'm picking up the phone tomorrow and I'm
Absolutely.
saying, we're making you a cornerstone of Ring of Honor.
Interesting.
That is a guy who, when he was in NXT, worked really, really well with younger talent. It's obviously not as demanding a schedule as a WWE schedule. And it's a way to build not only credibility for the Ring of Honor brand, but it gives them a unique attraction for people who are Champa fans. And now you're going to get to see him work with some of the younger guys like a Lee Moriarty or a Lee Johnson or any other Lees that may work at Ring of Honor.
Well, I guess the underlying question is, would you see it because he's on Ring of Honor?
If I close my eyes and spin around.
See, that's the issue. Like, if I was with you when I think Tony should get on the horn with him, and I would put him in a prominent spot in AEW, like as to a level of Ricochet, if not bigger, and really promote him, because I think there was so many legs when it came to him in NXT as the champion in that Sicilian psychopath with Goldie, quote unquote. And like, I was excited to see that potential happen on the main roster. And we never really got that with Ciampa.
We didn't. And that's why I'm saying that to me, the highest and best use of him ever in wrestling was what he was doing over at NXT, where he felt like an established champion. He felt like a guy who was really meaningful and important to the NXT brand, and at the same time was able to work with younger talents and really make them better. So now it's Gargano on his own. You can put him with a younger guy and form a tag team. I think that makes some degree of sense. But losing Ciampa, knowing where that tag division is right now, it's a little surprising.
It is. Let me ask you this before we move on. Do you think Ciampa is looking at it like, okay, I'm on the tail end of my career, there is grass greener on the other side? Or do you think it's almost like the Cody Rhodes route where I'm leaving this, I'm going to maximize my value on the independent scene and build my brand up, make a potential return later on to WWE down the line? What do you think his mindset is currently? He is 40 years old.
He's 40. Yeah, he's 40. So I know there were some reports. A friend of the show, Kevin Kellum, was reporting that he was having some conversations potentially with New Japan.
Interesting.
And I think that there is a path in any company that he winds up. He's an absolute asset. Am I going to say that as soon as I saw the news that Ciampa was taking bookings, that I was on the phone with the BRCW folks and said, "Hey, let's back up the." I don't think we have a Brinks truck, but maybe one of those Scrooge McDuck bags of money.
Hey, there you go. That might work.
Devin Dowling makes it. Oh, you already put it up there. You can go ahead and read it.
Ciampa it just isn't big enough. Picture Drew McIntyre across from Tommaso Ciampa. The two guys are completely different wrestling divisions. Unfortunately, smaller guys don't like the cruiserweight name. I don't necessarily subscribe to that, Devin, in today's world. I mean, I think if you have a personality and charisma, you can get yourself over no matter what size you are. I mean, obviously there's some limitations, and Ciampa's got the look and the vibe that I think could have made him a bigger main roster star on WWE. But what do you think, Robert?
So Ciampa, yeah, there are some guys, Adam Cole, who wrestle inappropriate to their size, Adam Cole, who when you see them in the ring, Adam Cole, they choose to act as if they're 7 feet tall, Adam Cole, and it makes it very hard for the viewer, Adam Cole, to pay attention to what's going on, Adam Cole. Tommaso Ciampa is a guy who is smaller, but he wrestles in a style that feels kinetic. It feels like this guy is going to find a way to attack you and chomp you and chomp you down. Jeez. Like Bryan Danielson is not a particularly tall individual. Shawn Michaels is, I know he's 6 foot, but he's not Drew McIntyre. Like I have stood next to Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre is 14 and a half feet tall.
He's big.
I think 6'1", and that dude was like cast a rain shadow over me. It was unnerving. Smaller guys can absolutely find a way to work at their size. Carmelo Hayes, I think, is a guy who's going to be able to overcome that with his charisma. Yeah. Ciampa really is a matter of how you program him. Finn is not exactly the world's tallest dude, and neither is most of their roster. WWE roster is a lot smaller. Chaplin always gets on me when we talk about the vision that it's very hard to take Braun Breaker or Bronson Reed or Austin Theory seriously when they're all about the same height as Heyman. And Heyman is not the tallest dude in the world.
No, he isn't. No. No. Well, as Ciampa makes an exit, somebody enters WWE.
Can you stop phrasing it like this? There's something so like I feel like I should be talking to HR after this conversation. I feel very uncomfortable.
Hey, your head's in the gutter, not mine, Robert.
My head is right here, man. I am focused. I am glued in. I'm pumped.
Well, somebody that's glued in to WWE now is Powerhouse Hobbs. According to Fightful Select, he has signed a contract with WWE, and WWE plans to change his name and image, I guess. Where do you see Powerhouse Hobbs fitting best on the WWE roster, whether that's NXT, Raw, or SmackDown?
So my gut initially would have been, hey, put this guy in NXT. Let's try to break some of these bad habits. Let him shine there. But given that he's 35, I believe.
Is he really?
Yeah, and he's got a little bit of momentum going for him. Let me look at how old Powerhouse Hobbs is.
I'm curious.
Powerhouse
Yeah.
Hobbs' age are 35 years old, 1991.
How
Which
about that? I would have never guessed.
so the amount of time that you're really going to get from him, you want to kind of maximize that right now. The issue that they're running into is, yeah, you're going to want to move that guy up to the main roster. However, the logistics of it here on January 23rd is we've got Royal Rumble in a week.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see Trick Williams in there, who's a young NXT upstart, who's got a lot of the momentum on the main roster. You're going to see Javon Evans most likely in sort of the young Kofi Kingston role of the guy who's going to do a daring near escape. You're probably going to debut Obafemi as your big giant monster. And then you're going to go put Hobbs out there. I just feel like he'd get lost in the shuffle. Plus, all due respect to Tony Marie Khan and AEW, I do not think that they have the same footprint in Riyadh as WWE does. And if Hobbs comes out and it's a big, who the hell is that guy? I don't know. Devin Dowling, who clearly wants to be banned. He's going to Dre Owens territory with Chris Jericho's new bodyguard, Powerhouse.
I'm not against that.
I'm so against that. I can't even, no. This isn't the AEW invasion. Hobbs, his genuine backstory is compelling. AEW found the right path for Hobbs and then just they laid down the sidewalk and then immediately jackhammered it.
Several times. He had the Book of Hobbs, which was great. He was paired up with Arn, which was awesome. And so many drops.
He is a guy who, when you hear his backstory, he's making a difference, Fatu.
Yeah.
Remember Making a Difference, Fatu?
Oh my God, is that Rikishi after he was with the rap gimmick?
This was Rikishi when he was going out on the streets and helping counsel the youth and setting them right.
Making a difference, Fatu.
Making a difference, Fatu. Yes. Oh yeah, go
God.
throw it in the Google machine, kids. Hobbs is a genuinely interesting, compelling guy. And he's someone who, if you go back and watch some of those promos that he delivered, especially going up against Moxley, he's got a lot of fire. He's got a lot of animosity and anger and intensity where you're like, I do not want to stand across the ring from that dude. He's going to murder me.
Right.
But it's a little bit of, you don't want it to be too samey with a lot of who else they have right now. With, Braun Breaker this is the explosive, jacked up dude that you don't want to mess with. You've got, Obafemi. He's going to be the big jacked up dude that you don't want to mess with. Jacob Fatu is back as the big jacked up dude who you don't want to mess with. It's tough.
It is tough.
It's good to sign that guy. Going into Royal Rumble, it's tough to debut him. Building up to WrestleMania, it's tough to utilize him.
Yeah, I would at the very least, I probably would wait until after Royal Rumble to debut him.
Part of it, I think, is because Trick Williams has demonstrated over the last few weeks. I was a little like, I don't know how he's going to do in the main roster. Dude's killing it.
Yeah.
If we're being honest, that man is really over-delivering with the promos. Now, they have idiot-proofed how to debut Trick Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Let him start with Sami Zayn, then deal with Randy Orton, then wrestle Rey Fenix, then have a little bit of a confrontation with Damian Priest, immediately put him into a number one contenders match. That guy feels like a big-time star.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so they're handling him the right way. Let's see if they handle SmackDown the right way tonight.
So before I just want because quick book on to close the book on Hobbs, Cammy Star says Raw after Mania surprise. Because we know, thanks to people tuning into Rumor and Innuendo and also Fightful Select with your boy Sean Ross Sapp, everyone knows Hobbs is signed.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get that, oh my God moment. It's going to be like, well, yeah, we've been waiting for this guy for 3 months.
Right.
He's the Funkasaurus. He's Emelina.
Now, I guess though you could do some vignettes with him, like old school vignettes, and then build him up in the right way. And that
Well,
would
they're
be
doing
cool.
that with Obafemi now.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So I think with Hobbs, you can have a sit down thing with him. It depends on how they want to go about and tell this guy's story, because
Yeah.
the challenge that they're going to face is man overcame a challenging youth to find success. However, um, then they're going to be like, and then what were you doing the last couple years?
Yeah. What's going on then?
Also, Cammy Star trying to earn her own ban by
Oh
bringing up
no,
Veer.
I forgot about Veer.
How could you forget about Veer?
I wasn't. I just
It
wasn't.
took Veer so long to come that you know what he could use.
Little blue
Oh,
chew.
no, they're not. We're not. We're not do Blue
No,
Chew
they
for a
are. They're a
second.
sponsor this week.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, they are. I just don't have.
Didn't have it in the. I usually Dom gives me the list of who we got to talk about, so I got to find a way to stand by.
Stand
Thank
by.
God I already have it queued up just in case.
No, you have it just locked in on your
Fellas,
screen.
Fellas, you already know what time it is. It's time to level up, and Blue Chew just dropped something crazy. I'm talking next level championship gold plated energy. Blue Chew Gold is the newest innovation from the #1 chewable ED brand. This ain't your grandpa's little blue pill. This is the 4-in-1 beast that's setting the gold standard for performance. We're talking 2 ingredients for blood flow to keep that rocket pumping, mixed with apomorphine and oxytocin to turn up the arousal and connection in your brain and body. Don't be like Veer. When it's time for you to come, you want to deliver. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Get 10% off your first month of Blue Chew Gold with promo code RUMOR. That's promo code RUMOR. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this episode, thanks for reminding me, Dom, of Rumor and Innuendo.
Go for the gold, everybody. Go for the gold. So tonight, nobody's really quite going for the gold on SmackDown, but we do have some matches lined up, Robert.
A little disappointed. We're back in North America.
Mm-hmm.
We're back in
North America.
We're back in what some people would call the 51st state, Canada.
And actually,
Which
hold
I
the phone here.
I was
go
gonna
ahead.
say, I do love the amount of trouble that a certain NHL minority team owner got in for mentioning the 51st state. I don't want to say who, because I don't ever like to disparage folks on this podcast, but that guy was absolutely, if Blue Chew focuses on the front of your bottom, he was on the rear. He would have been the description of the rear end.
Oh boy.
That gentleman. Not going to say who he is, but
I'm not attuned to that story.
you don't need to be attuned to it. It happened a year and a half ago. He's no Veer. That's all I'm going to say.
No
Veer, good guy.
Well, there is some gold actually on SmackDown tonight. The tag team championships will be on the line as the Wyatt Six. They're the champs taking on the MFT. Anything going on here with it? Are we going to get an early title change before Saturday night's main event, Robert?
I would not mind a title change. They have not said which members of the MFTs are actually competing for it, but I think that a title change here would help. You know, the problem with the Wyatts is you can't just put them in a match. So by that, you know, we have tag teams that want to go after the tag titles. It can't just be good news. They're going to wrestle the Wyatts. You got to deal with all the spooky bullshit stuff. I caught myself halfway through. You know, it can't just be the Street Profits showing up and being like, we want to challenge those titles. Instead, it's we want to challenge those titles. And now we got to turn this cross back right because it went upside down and there's blood coming out of the walls. And here comes spiders from the bottom of the drain. Like, it's too much supernaturally nonsense. And as a tag team, they're just kind of there. So give it to the MFTs. Let's see what they do with it. Give Solo a win on top of just the guy stole the lantern, which, as goofy as it is, as a kid who grew up watching WWF in like '93,
right?
This is right in the someone stole the Undertaker's urn, melted it down, turned it into a necklace. I'm looking at you, comma.
Yes, the Supreme Fighting Machine.
Supreme Fighting Machine, comma, who then became Kama Mustafa, then became the Godfather, who super nice dude that you do not want to cross.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There is a WWE Women's Tag Team Championship #1 contenders match. Nia Jax and Lash Legend. They'll be taking on Kiana James and Julia. and they'll also be taking on Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Who would you position for this higher up in the tag division, women's tag division here? Which team would you go with here, Robert?
Well, we haven't talked Saturday night's main event, so it was a little kind of cart before the horse. But
Yes.
I would venture to. This is tough. None of them. If I'm perfectly honest, I'm being serious. It's the way that they kind of positioned it last week was that it seemed like Kiana James was making some behind the scenes within kayfabe decisions to have Lash Legend and Nia Jax help Julia, but hadn't clued Julia in on this because I think they've kind of realized we may need to turn Julia babyface. So it's probably not going to be them.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte and Alexa going after the women's tag titles, they're of better use in the Rumble itself.
Sure.
Unless the idea is Charlotte and Alexa challenging for the women's tag titles at the Royal Rumble is a big enough match.
Right.
Because I would venture to guess we are going to get new women's tag team champions on Saturday night's main event. But before we get to that, we still have another match to talk about on SmackDown.
Oh, yes. Yes, there's a little preview of another Saturday night's main event match. It's Trick Williams taking on Damian Priest.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. How would you handle this? No contest kind of thing going down, or what?
I think Trick gets the win through some kind of chicanery based on, again, what I think is going to happen on Saturday night's main event.
Well, let's get to it, Robert. Yes, there's only a few matches, but
I'll be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Forgot Saturday night's main event was this Saturday. Scott and I were doing the podcast, and we were like, hey, is there a Saturday night's main event this Saturday? I was like, no. Wait. No. Wait.
It's weird to think that the Royal Rumble's like just less than 10 days away, right? Am I off on that?
It's next weekend. It's
That's
next
crazy.
Saturday. By the way, King of Hueco Mundo, 9394. What a name that rolls off the tongue. Said, what's with a lot of the dirt sheet reports that LA Knight is not happy and wants out? That would be because I used all of my birthday wishes. Every opportunity, every restaurant that I was at, and they put a candle in front of me, I said, can we please get rid of LA Knight?
Did you catch the Unreal stuff with him? I didn't catch any of that.
I've only watched half of the first episode of the new season of Unreal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're aware of this. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch are married.
What?
I just saved you 20 minutes. Unreal is too, I don't know. But LA Knight is a dude who I've had that feeling all along, believes a hype about him as opposed to the reality of life. He is a dude who has a perfectly good ceiling as a Matt Cardona-esque dude who's going to get a big pop. He's an upper mid-card guy. He's someone that can be in the mix, sell merchandise, get opportunities on TV, but he is not main eventing WrestleMania. And I think he genuinely, in his heart of hearts, believes he should be main eventing WrestleMania. The slot that he is best used for is one of the matches that we have at Saturday night's main events. There are 3 matches. We got a minute to go.
Yep.
Real quick, I've said a number of times why I think Liv and Roxanne are winning the women's tag titles. I have not backed off that. I think that everyone in Judgment Day but Finn having gold is the end game for that story right there.
With you on that.
I think with Cody and Fatu, I don't think we're getting a finish.
Okay.
I think we're going to get these guys are going to brawl all over the place, and it's going to be a pull apart chaos. Katie bar the door. And then for your number 1 contenders match, Randy Orton, Damian Priest, Sami Zayn, Trick Williams. I think it's Damian Priest because I think Damian Priest, much like LA Knight, is a dude who is not a true main event guy, but he's a guy that you can put in certain main event situations on certain shows, and the audience is not going to be offended by it. But they're not saying, yeah, put that guy as the main eventer at WrestleMania. I think this is a good consolation prize for Priest that he can be the challenger to go up against Drew. He can lose to Drew at the Royal Rumble. It's not going to hurt him. It enhances the storyline he just came out of with Aleister Black, that he won a 6-month-long feud. He's now the number 1 contender. He gets screwed out of the title. He's going to be in the hunt going for the championship going forward. Orton in the Rumble makes a lot of sense. Sammy in the Rumble makes a lot of sense. Williams winning tonight, losing tomorrow. Hey, I'm the guy who beat the number 1 contender. It should be me in there. I got screwed. I'm going into the Rumble and I'm going to win. We're not getting screwed. And that's why you got Blue Chew Gold promo code rumor. But we will be back on Monday as we are every Monday through Friday, snow or shine, at noon Eastern on a plethora of platforms, including WW Creative _ISH X account, the at Dominic D'Angelo X account, the at SE Scoops X account, and on YouTube on Rumor and Innuendo, Podcast Heat, and ad-free shows. What a day, what a week. So excited to be covering it all with you. And on behalf of the man who is powered by Starbucks, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpelis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Watch out for Snowmageddon, not Armageddon, where Rikishi almost lost in Hell in a Cell. Okay, see you guys. Bye. Shh.